I'm here with Cristella V from Collier Youth Services in Wikatunk, New Jersey. Cristella, welcome.
Hey, great to be here.
Super happy to be here having this conversation with you. We have gotten to know each other over the years through the Angers pilgrimages, the North America Good Shepherd gatherings, and more recently, in the past year or two, we have been hosting the Facebook group of the Euphrasia Letters Reading Club. So I'm really excited to be introducing you to the rest of our Good Shepherds and let them see your face and hear some of your story. So thank you and welcome once again.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So as we start, why don't you just tell us, what is it that you do? Tell us about your work and how long you've been there.
Sure. So like you said, I work at Collier High School, and I started at Collier in 2002, and I found my way there as a Good Shepherd volunteer. And once my year was up, I stayed on and became a teacher in the school. And then about 10 years ago, I switched jobs, and I now am the educational coordinator for the school.
So you said you started as a Good Shepherd volunteer. For those other shepherds out there who may not be familiar with that program, can you tell us just a little bit about that? How does that work?
Sure. So volunteers typically stay on for 1 year, although some do too. We have domestic as well as international volunteers, and we really follow the teachings of St. Mary Euphrasia, and we focus on 4 tenets: spirituality, social justice, simplicity, and I'm missing one.
Community?
You're gonna have to.
Is it community?
Community. Good thing you're editing me.
All right. So tell me, how has life been for you for the past couple months? Working in the high school and being an educational coordinator, I can only imagine that your daily life has changed exponentially in the past couple months with the epidemic or pandemic of COVID-19 breaking out. What's life been like for you?
It's definitely been interesting and somewhat of a whirlwind. As we awaited orders, we really weren't sure what would happen, and life changed almost overnight. So we left school on a Friday, and I didn't even take everything I needed with me because we thought we would be back. And then it just turned into an extended order where we're at this point staying home even through the summer program. And so it's been really interesting, but we've definitely found ways to connect with our students. We maintain an online schedule where they log into their classes. We hold meetings with them. And today we just had our Battle of the Classes field day with our students. So that was a lot of fun. I think we've really worked to try to translate things and stay connected.
Yeah, that's great. Well, as a parent of a finishing up second grader, I will just say how amazed I have been at how wonderful teachers have been to quickly pivot and do what they can to keep their students connected and keep them learning. So thank you to you and all of the teachers that you work with. You guys are really amazing.
And I'll say on the other end of it, I'm a parent, but just thank you to all the parents out there who help support the kids and help get them logged on and doing what we want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. So are there things that you have been doing? What's helped you stay connected with the Good Shepherd mission during this time when you're away from your coworkers, you're away from the kids? What has helped keep you connected?
I think that we call it the Collier way, you know, our kind of style of showing love and fun to our students. And we found ways to translate that. So those things certainly are a big boost. Our Facebook club reading the letters has been helpful. And then connections with staff. I even have a couple of staff members who I meet, and we do a weekly, nightly reflection together, and have been able to really share our faith, where that's not something we did prior to this time, but really have found a lot of joy in that.
Wow, that's really cool. I've been really impressed and interested at the things people have started doing that maybe they wouldn't have done pre-COVID-19, some things that have really helped groups form together, and that sounds like that's one of them for you. That's really
absolutely
cool. Yeah, that's cool. So let's back up a little bit to your first year as a GSV. What was it that drew you to Good Shepherd? How did you get connected?
Well, the year actually before my Good Shepherd year, I did another program with Capuchin Franciscans, and I had gone to school. I always thought to be a kindergarten teacher. And then I took on a year-long position leading retreats for high school students and college students. And that's the first time I worked with that age group. And I just loved just the communication you can have with that age group and the maturity. And I started to wonder if that was more up my alley. And so I really sought out a program that worked with high school students, specifically in a school setting. And that's how I found Collier. So before that year, I had never heard of Good Shepherd, but something drew me there.
Wow. Well, so then can you tell us a story maybe about when you knew that Good Shepherd was the right place for you?
I have two, and one involves a prop. So I already said my first volunteer year was with Capuchin Franciscans, and there were 6 of us that year. So when I was moving there, I wanted to bring like a housewarming gift, but I also did not have much money. So I searched around and I found glasses at a local dollar store that I really captured my sense of humor for my roommates, and I bought one for myself. I have it here. So on the front, little sheet.
Oh.
And on the back,
sheet back.
Yeah. So I had to buy them. I brought them with me, and I took mine with me when I moved in at Collier. And when I moved into the apartment and opened the cabinet to put my cup away, they had the same cups in the cabinet. And I just thought, okay, I'm home. So that's my silly example. And my not so silly example is the day that I came to take a tour of the place and visit and meet staff and students and kind of see if the program was right for me. Something that dawned on me throughout the day was that everybody just talked so positively about each other. And at the end of the evening, when I was in the principal's office trying to decide if I was taking the opportunity or not, I realized he had not said a negative thing about any staff member or student all day long. And I had never been in a place like that. And I just wanted to be at a place where people valued each other, saw the good in each other, and, you know, I could be part of that too.
Yeah, wow. So just 2 quick sort of reactions to your stories. Your first one with the glass. Having gotten to know you just a little bit, I would do think that one thing that you definitely bring is a wonderful sense of humor and a wonderful sense of fun to your work and to wherever you are. So that doesn't surprise me at all that was something that you really liked. And with your second story, you know, I mean, something that we talk about a lot is how people only know the mission and they only know Good Shepherd through us, right? There's no such thing as mission and values just floating around out there in the air. It's only in how we live it and how we treat each other. And so that you saw that example in, you know, not hearing an unkind word spoken against anybody, I think really speaks to the truth of that and the importance of how we live those things that we hold really dear, that we say we believe. So that's cool. Can you tell me a little bit about how does the Good Shepherd mission connect with your personal mission, about who you are as an individual? What is it that connects with the Good Shepherd piece?
I think it boils down to the quote of a person is of more value than a world. I've always believed that every person born, no matter where they're born, has value and purpose. And I think, you know, with our students, a lot of times when they first arrive at our school, they don't believe in themselves, they don't see the good in themselves, and they've only had other people show them the negatives. They feel unwanted and unloved. And for us to be able to see kind of what's underneath all of that and help them to bring it out is so meaningful to me. I think no matter, you don't need to be born where I'm born, the same country, the same race, the same religion, you still matter. And that's what I think we're able to bring in our programs.
Yeah. You brought up that quote that a person is of more value than a world. What is it about St. Mary Euphrasia and or St. John Eudes that you really like? What do you love about them?
I think you can really see what real people they were. You know, doing our group where we read through the letters, you can tell that sometimes St. Mary Euphrasia was frustrated or stressed or she's laughing about something. And like we've said about sense of humor, when I can see that come through, it helps me to see that she saw people as they were. You didn't have to live up to a certain standard to be part of Good Shepherd. They saw the value in you as you, and you were accepted for that. So I guess the humanity.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. And I really think that that's something that I've seen reading through Mary Euphrasia's letters as well, is that she was a very real, very approachable person. And the way that she spoke to her friends, you can hear all of that emotion and all of those experiences in there. And it seems like such a special thing because for those of us who haven't been around saints our entire lives, they seem a little bit unapproachable, a little bit more than human or less than human, I don't know, just different. And Mary Euphrasia and John Eudes don't seem that way. Like you said, they were very well-rounded and very emotional and went through struggles. And I love that in our letters reading group, we get to see all of those facets of who she was. I think that's been really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So in the, let's see, how many years did you say you've been with Good Shepherd? Was it your GSV year was 2005?
2002.
Oh boy. Okay. So in your 18 years with Good Shepherd, what difference has that made in your life?
I mean, I could talk for a long time on that. I think so many things. I actually met my husband at Good Shepherd. So to be married to somebody who believes in the same thing, to have kids who are growing up knowing kind of like the Collier way, like I said, or the way of treating people, and they know those names. They know St. Mary Euphrasia. And so all of those things, I think, enrich my life. But being able to work at a place that you're excited to go to, people are laughing a lot, and just we don't do things because that's the way they're done, but we really think every single thing through and try to do it the most dignified way for our students, to be supportive and loving, and again, to show them what's possible. We always say we can make the impossible possible. We just have to keep trying. And so I guess just that environment or that way of being, it's just throughout my whole life at this point.
Yeah. I really resonate with what I hear you saying about how being involved with Good Shepherd, you're not only doing things for other people, but it's more enriching your own life and your own family. And I think when that moves down into our marriages and the way that we parent and the way that we live our lives at home, that's where I see a really big difference and a really big influence on the Good Shepherd values and mission. So especially when we can bring our kiddos into that, that seems like such a special thing to be able to do. Any other stories or experiences that you would like to share with all of these people out here in YouTube land?
I don't know. This is the question I struggled with the most. I'm sure I have a million stories, but I couldn't come up with a particular one.
Yeah. Tell you what, why don't you tell us about the pictures that you have in your background?
Sure. Okay, so these are canvases that hang in my office at school, but with the pandemic, I brought them home to bring my office here. And this canvas here is taken from the courtyard of the Mother House in Angers, and I just loved those like knobby trees against the sky when I was there, so I had to capture that. And when I was on the pilgrimage, we were told to find a place where we felt the presence of St. Mary Euphrasia. And so we took a trip to Noirmoutier, where she grew up as a girl. And one of the things I did when we were there was to climb out on a rock. And so that picture back there is, I took it sitting on that rock. That's where I felt like I felt her the most. So those hang in my office at school.
Yeah. Let me ask you just a little bit more about that rock. What was it about that spot that felt special to you?
I think we had talked about how she played there and ran as a girl, and I could just picture her climbing out there. And for me, I'm a little bit clumsy sometimes and nervous with something like that, so I was afraid actually to climb out there, but I just felt like I had to do it, and it felt like almost like I was being called to that spot. So I could just envision her as a young girl, no shoes on, hair flying in the wind and just like playing out there by the water. And that's where I felt like she was.
Yeah. You know, and rocks being as old as they are, she probably was there. That's why one of the really neat things about being able to be actually in the places where she was. So thank you. Thanks for sharing those. We're gonna close up. I've got just 5 quick questions for you for us to close with. What's the silliest thing you've cried about during quarantine?
One thing I cried about, and I don't know if it's silly, but I thought it was silly, is that I did one of those birthday parades where you drive by a child's house, like beep your horn, and we had a banner and all these things, and just, he was so happy, the little boy, but just for me thinking of all the people celebrating milestones away from their loved ones and not being able to connect, that just got to me. I cried all the way home.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have found ourselves a little bit more emotional than usual. What has been your biggest binge watching show the past few months?
I don't know if this is the biggest, but I will confess I watched Tiger King.
Didn't we all? Didn't we all? All right. What restaurant are you dying to get back into?
Our favorite family restaurant is Crown Palace, which is a Chinese restaurant nearby.
All right. Who's the first person you want to hug when social distancing is loosened up?
I'm excited to hug my parents. They celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary on quarantine.
Wow. Wow. And then finally, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sick are you of Zoom meetings?
1 million.
Me too. All right. Well, Cristella, thank you so much for joining us. For those of you watching, in the video description, we'll have links both to the Mary Euphrasia Letters Reading Club and also to Collier Youth Services if you're looking to find out just a little bit more information about where Cristella works. So thank you for joining us. Stella, wonderful to see you. Thank you for being here. And we will talk again soon.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.